10 most dangerous countries to visit. In this video, we explore top 10 countries that are listed under the most extreme ranking. In other words, these are places where, according to the US government, you should not travel. 10. Venezuela. Venezuela was placed on the Do Not Travel list on January 29, 2019. The most recent addition to the list cites crime, civil unrest, arbitrary arrest, and poor health infrastructure as risks to American travelers. A standoff between the country's military and a new, self-declared interim leader has taken tension in the South American country to a fever pitch. 9. North Korea. Tensions flared between the US and North Korea in 2016, when an American tourist was arrested and detained for over a year after reportedly attempting to steal a propaganda poster from a Pyongyang hotel. 8. Syria. Once a jewel of the Middle East, Syria's historic capital of Damascus has been reduced to a shadow of its former self after 8 years of civil war entangling nearly every military power in the region, including the US, Russia, Turkey, and Iran. The State Department currently advises American citizens not to travel to the country, due to terrorism, civil unrest, and armed conflict. 7. Iran. While it is possible for American citizens to travel to Iran with a visa, the State Department advises against this. That's a shame because Tehran remains one of the most beautiful cities on Earth. Still, the State Department warns that American citizens could be subject to arbitrary arrest and detention in the country. 6. Iraq. Think twice before traveling to this cradle of civilization. American civilians traveling to Iraq risk kidnapping, injury, and death in addition to arrests, fines, and expulsion. According to the most recent report from the State Department, insurgent groups within the country still regularly attack both Iraqi security forces and citizens. 5. Yemen. In 2016, a US Navy destroyer sailing through the Red Sea was targeted by 2 missiles launched from Yemen. The USS Mason repelled the attack, but the saga marked the beginning of increased tensions between the US and Yemen. In July of 2018, the State Department officially placed Yemen on its Do Not Travel list, citing health issues, civil unrest, and armed conflict. 4. Somalia. In June of 2018, a Canadian judge sentenced a Somali national to 15 years in prison following a conviction for the kidnapping of 27-year-old Canadian freelance journalist, Amanda Lindhout. Lindhout was on a 4-week tour of Africa with an Australian co-worker in 2008 when the two were pulled from their vehicle by a group of armed men. 11 years later, the US government maintains advisories against travel to Somalia, where kidnapping and piracy are still rampant. 3. South Sudan. The world's youngest country, South Sudan gained independence from the Republic of Sudan in 2011. According to Human Rights Watch, more than 4 million people have been forced to flee their homes in the country, as thousands die in an ongoing conflict that is still flaring up despite a peace deal in 2015. 10 United Nations aid workers were kidnapped there in the spring of 2018, and the US State Department has placed a Do Not Travel warning on the fledgling nation, citing carjackings, ambushes, shootings, robberies, and kidnappings. 2. Central African Republic. The US government has a limited ability to help American citizens in distress in the Central African Republic. The State Department lists armed robbery, kidnapping, battery, and homicide as threats to travelers visiting the country, and cautions that employees of the US government must obtain special permission to even provide emergency services to its citizens outside of the embassy. 1. Mali. American travelers wanting to literally travel to Timbuktu should think again for now. Here, the State Department says terror groups are randomly targeting nightclubs, hotels, restaurants, and places of worship, and tourist destinations, as well as diplomatic missions from Western nations. The US government is completely unable to provide emergency services to citizens in 2/3 of the country. Meanwhile, the Federal Aviation Administration has issued a special warning to pilots flying over the country due to civil unrest. Thanks for watching the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do and click the like button, I would really appreciate it.